Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers. Will Brennan and Carly hit the sheets once she discovers he erased the evidence linking her to organized crime? General Hospital, GH, spoilers tease that it looked like Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, was set to go to prison after she taunted John Jagger Cates, Adam Harrington, to arrest her based on evidence linking her to organized crime. Luckily, someone stepped in to rescue the former Mrs. Corinthos. General Hospital spoilers. Brennan has a major crush on Carly. We all know that person is Jack Brennan, Charles' Major. He apparently erased the evidence of Carly announcing to the 5 families that she was the head of the Corinthos organization. At Carly's arraignment, it became clear that a mysterious guardian angel swooped in and destroyed the incriminating recording. Needless to say, Carly was thrilled. It's also apparent that Jack has a major crush on Carly and would go to great lengths to help her. It was a little odd when Anna first discovered that any trace of Brennan at Pentonville and the hospital had miraculously disappeared. Hannah Devane, Finola Hughes, traveled to Washington, D.C. to try to solve the mystery. And boy, was she in for a surprise. It all made sense the minute viewers saw him working for the WSB again. Whoever erased the evidence against Carly is obviously in a very high place. Carly will learn who saved her from a potential 20-year-long prison sentence. And when she does, she'll see Brennan in a whole new light. Viewers are warming up to the idea of a Carly and Brennan pairing. Despite him almost attempting to kidnap her in December of last year, we've seen another side of Jack we didn't expect. It started when Carly went to see Brennan in the hospital, and he told her that she should stay away from him because he was a bad man. Carly responded with, "I make up my own mind." His words seemed like a warning to protect her. General Hospital spoilers. Brennan and Carly could give in to passion. Brennan also seemed genuinely thrilled to see Carly when she visited him at Pentonville. After she told him about her unfortunate predicament with the FBI, he offered her some constructive advice. He commented that prison was a very dark place and that she brought him the light. Not to mention, the two of them have amazing chemistry. It's easy to see them falling for each other. Their mutual attraction will prove too tempting to resist, and they will likely hit the sheets. When she finds out what Jack did for her, it may be the first time we see Carly speechless. Even if it doesn't turn into a serious relationship, the sparks will no doubt fly between them, and they may surrender to passion. Brennan may have a reason to return to Port Charles, or Carly could meet him in Washington. They certainly have a lot to talk about. At the very least, she'll thank him profusely. Spoilers indicate that Carly will be grateful to him for intervening on her behalf and making sure that John didn't stand a chance at putting Carly behind bars or controlling Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, and using him to get to Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard. Perhaps Carly isn't the only one who owes Jack a bit of gratitude. Carly Corinthos paced the floor of her living room, her mind swirling with a mixture of rage and confusion. She had just learned from an anonymous tip that Brennan, the new enigmatic player in town, had somehow erased the evidence linking her to organized crime. The implications were staggering. Her freedom had been bought and paid for, but the cost was still unclear. What did Brennan want in return? Brennan had arrived in Port Charles with a mysterious past and connections that seemed to span the globe. His interest in Carly had been apparent from the beginning, but she had dismissed it as mere curiosity. Now it appeared that he had taken a more personal interest in her affairs. Carly knew she needed answers, and she knew just where to find him. As she stormed out of her house and drove to Brennan's penthouse, her thoughts shifted to Sonny and Jason. They would have never allowed this to happen. But they were gone, and she was left to fend for herself in a world that had become increasingly treacherous. She parked her car and took a deep breath before entering the building, her determination growing with each step. The elevator ride to Brennan's floor seemed to take an eternity. Carly's mind raced with possibilities, her heart pounding in her chest. When the doors finally opened, she was greeted by the sight of Brennan's imposing figure leaning against the doorframe, a smirk playing on his lips. "Carly," he said smoothly, "I had a feeling you'd come." "Cut the crap, Brennan," she snapped. "What the hell are you playing at? Why did you erase the evidence?" Brennan's smirk widened as he stepped aside, allowing her to enter. "Why don't you come in, and we can discuss this like civilized adults?" Carly reluctantly entered the penthouse, her eyes scanning the luxurious surroundings. Brennan closed the door behind her and motioned for her to sit on the plush sofa. She remained standing, her arms crossed defiantly. "Fine," Brennan said, his tone more serious. "I'll get straight to the point. I erased the evidence because I see potential in you, Carly. You're a force to be reckoned with, and I believe we can help each other." Carly's eyes narrowed. "Help each other? How?" Brennan moved closer, his eyes locking onto hers. "I have my own interests in Port Charles, and I need someone with your skill set to help me achieve them. In return, I can offer you protection, resources, and information. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement." Carly's mind raced. She had been down this road before, aligning herself with powerful men who promised protection and support. But Brennan was different. He was a wild card, and she wasn't sure she could trust him. "What's in it for you?" she asked, her voice tinged with suspicion. Brennan's gaze softened, and for a moment, Carly thought she saw a flicker of genuine emotion. "Let's just say I have a personal stake in keeping you safe. You remind me of someone I once knew, someone who didn't get the chance you have now." Carly felt a pang of curiosity, but she quickly suppressed it. She couldn't afford to get emotionally involved. "And if I refuse?" Brennan's expression hardened. "Then you'll be on your own, and I can't guarantee your safety. The evidence may be gone, but there are other threats out there, Carly. Ones that you can't handle alone." Carly's mind whirled with the implications. She hated feeling cornered, but she knew he was right. The underworld of Port Charles was a dangerous place, and without Jason or Sonny, she was vulnerable. "Fine," she said finally, her voice steady. "But don't think for a second that I trust you, Brennan. This is strictly business." Brennan's smirk returned, but there was a hint of respect in his eyes. "Understood, Carly. I wouldn't have it any other way." As the weeks passed, Carly found herself reluctantly drawn into Brennan's world. They worked together, navigating the treacherous waters of Port Charles' criminal underworld. Despite her initial reservations, she found herself relying on Brennan more and more. He was resourceful, cunning, and always seemed to be one step ahead of their enemies. One night, after a particularly harrowing encounter with a rival mob boss, Carly found herself back at Brennan's penthouse. They had narrowly escaped with their lives, and the adrenaline was still coursing through her veins. She sat on the sofa, her hands trembling as she recounted the events of the night. Brennan watched her, his expression unreadable. "You did well tonight, Carly," he said softly. "You're stronger than you think." Carly looked up, meeting his gaze. There was something in his eyes, a vulnerability she hadn't seen before. She felt a strange connection to him, a bond forged in the fires of danger and survival. Before she could second-guess herself, Carly closed the distance between them and pressed her lips to his. The kiss was electric, a release of all the tension and fear that had been building between them.